Hello all, I'm Marin. Welcome to or welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my May round of Bookopoly, so let's go ahead and get into it. Now, my last round of Bookopoly was filmed back for my March TBR, and I mentioned in that video that I was going to give myself 2 months to read the books on that TBR, just because of some vlogs that I had already scheduled out that had set TBRs. So we're gonna go ahead and see how I did with that TBR to see whether I will be pulling a reward or a challenge prompt. So roll one landed me on Spin a Series, where I used a random spinner wheel to determine what series book I was going to be reading, and it chose The Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Beth Durst, which I did read. Roll 2 landed me on Lowest Rated. For that, I was to read Zone 1 by Colson Whitehead, which I actually DNF'd, but for the purpose of the game, we are going to count as completed. Roll 3 landed me on Horror. For that, I chose The Fisherman by John Langan, which I did read. Roll 4 landed me on Random Color, and the color I was given was Basalt Gray, so I chose The 13th Child because the smoke from the candles is basalt gray. I am almost finished with this one. I am at 80%, so I have 5 days remaining in the month, so this will definitely get done, so we're gonna go ahead and count it. Roll 5 landed me on Fiction. For that, I chose Will Prescribe You a Cat by Sue Ishida, which I did read. And roll 6 landed me on Library, and I chose The Names by Florence Knapp, which I did read. So we have completed the TBR. Hooray! That means I get to choose a reward prompt to potentially use as I play the game this month. So let me grab the cards and we're gonna see which reward I get to put in my back pocket. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and just mix up the reward cards. Oops, this one jumped out at me. And we're just gonna pull right from the top this time. So let's see what we've got. Okay, so the first one is, ignore doubles. So that means I do not have to add a roll if I roll a double if I decide to use this card. Last year I held on to this pretty much the entire year because I never had a month where like the doubles went wild, but we'll see how that works out for me this month. So I do have this one. I also do still have this prompt right here, which is swap out any prompt from a previous round. So 2 rewards to start the game. Without further ado, let's get going. Okay, we are starting over here on Library because that was the last roll from March. So here we go. This is roll 1. And we have a 10. And that is a small book. So that is usually a book under 300 pages. So let me see what I want to pick for that prompt. All right, roll 1 landed me on small book. Now, usually this is a book under 300 pages, but I'm going to go with a book that is right at 300 pages, and that is Lost and Lassoed by Lila Sage. This is book 3 in the Rebel Blue Ranch series, and the actual book itself stops at page 300. So right there. There's some excerpts and stuff from the other books in the back, but I'm not counting that in the page count because the actual book is 300. So this will be pick number 1 for May. All right, roll 2 is a 3. And that is Community Shelf. So we're gonna just pull off the top. Oh, okay, and our prompt is an anthology. I have not read one of those in a long time. Let me see what I want to do. All right, roll 2 landed me on Community Shelf, and I did draw the prompt anthology. However, I do not really want to read an anthology this month, so I am going to go ahead and use my swap out any prompt reward, and I am going to swap it out for the Literally Dead Book Club prompt because I need to read The Ending Writes Itself by Evelyn Clark, I think is the author name they're using. This is the pick for May, so I need to read it anyway. I have it coming up on my Libby here pretty quickly, so I'm going to go ahead and put it on the TBR in place of anthology. I don't love anthologies, and I'm trying to force myself to read more of them, but this is just not the month. So we're going to go ahead and swap it out for Literally Dead Book Club, and I'm going to read The Ending Writes Itself instead. Okay, roll 3 is another 3. And that is seasonal. So that is a book for my seasonal TBR. I am working on my spring TBR right now. So let me see which one I want to choose. Roll 3 landed me on seasonal, and as I mentioned, we are working on my spring TBR. I will be reading Peach Blossom Spring by Melissa Fu. I actually started this one last year and only got like 100 pages or so into it. I think 104. So I will be restarting this and reading it from scratch, but this is on my spring TBR and I would like to get it read. So this is what we're gonna go with. All right, we have roll 4. And that is a double, that is an 8. And that is another community shelf. Okay, let's pull the card. And we have a mood read. So I definitely like that prompt a lot. So let me talk about what I might pick for this prompt. Roll 4 was a double, and I got another community shelf prompt, but this time it was nice because it was a mood read. So that means I'm not going to actually pick a book to read specifically for this prompt. I am going to see what my mood is and go from there. But I am reading a number of books for vlogs this month, so most likely I will go ahead and use one of those books for this mood read prompt. But you can stay tuned for my next round of Bookopoly where I will actually discuss what I read for this one. All right, we have roll 5 of 6 because I just got that double. So let's see, that is a 6. And that is buzzword. Okay, let me talk about what I'm gonna pick for that prompt. Roll 5 landed me on buzzword. The buzzword for May is the word make in the title. So for that, I am going to be reading The Shoemaker's Wife by Adriana Trigiani. I read a book by her several years ago and really, really liked it. She writes historical fiction that is usually combined with like some contemporary moments. This one though, I think is definitely, yeah, it says a riveting historical epic of love and family. So this is definitely solely historical fiction, but I've wanted to read more from this author for a while. This is the one I've picked because of course it does have make in the title. Okay, and roll 6 is another double. That's a 12. And that is a romance. Okay, that is very easy. I can definitely do that. Roll 6 was another double, so we were up to 7 rolls. It landed me on romance, and for that I am going to choose Happy Place by Emily Henry. This is one of the books that I mentioned I wanted to read for a vlog, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the TBR just to make things a little bit easier. I have just a couple of books left by Emily Henry that I have not yet read. I have this one that I need to read and Book Lovers. Then I will have read her whole adult romance backlist. So I'm looking forward to reading this one. I know a number of people have really enjoyed it, so we will see what I think, but this is book 6 on the May TBR. Okay, this is roll 7. Let's hope this is the last one. Otherwise, I might have to think about ignoring those doubles. Okay, good. It is the last one. That is an 8. And we're back where we started, which was another small book. Okay, so let me see what I want to do for that. That was the last prompt, so not too bad of a TBR. Roll 7, which was the final roll because I did not roll a double, landed me back on small book, so the game came like full circle. I'm going to use this to read a Nancy Drew book. It is probably going to be number 47 because I do not think I'm going to get it read before the end of April, but we'll see how it goes. This one is number 47. I cannot remember the title. If I get this one read before the end of the month though, it will be this one, which is number 48. I really want to read the remainder of the original 56 here in 2026, and I am really behind. These are very, very short. They're like 170 pages, but I just have not been able to find time to squeeze it in. So hopefully by putting it on the official TBR, I will at least get one more of them checked off. So that is going to be the final book for this May TBR. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the only other book that I'm definitely going to, hopefully, I should say hopefully, not definitely, hopefully get read. And that is my nonfiction pick for the month of May. May is Asian American and Pacific Islanders Heritage Month. So I picked out the book called Slow Noodles, a Cambodian memoir of love, loss, and family recipes. This is by Chantha Nguyen. I probably did not pronounce that correctly. I apologize. But this one has pretty good reviews. I'm going to go ahead and read you the synopsis because this is the book that if you would like to read along with me, I will be reading for my nonfiction pick, and will put a community post up on my community tab. So this one says, a haunting and beautiful memoir from a Cambodian refugee who lost her country and her family during Pol Pot's genocide in the 1970s, but who finds hope by reclaiming the recipes she tasted in her mother's kitchen. So it includes actual recipes, which I think is kind of cool. But this says, take a well-fed 9-year-old with a big family and a fancy education. Fold in 2 revolutions, 2 civil wars, and 1 wholesale extermination. Subtract a reliable source of food, life savings, and family members until all are gone. Shave down childhood dreams for approximately 2 decades until only subsistence remains. In Slow Noodles, Chantha Nguyen recounts her life as a Cambodia refugee who lost everything and everyone. Her house, her country, her parents, her siblings, her friends. Everything but the memories of her mother's kitchen, the tastes and aromas of the foods her mother made before the dictator Pol Pot tore her country apart in the 1970s, killing millions of her compatriots. Nguyen's irrepressible spirit and determination come through in this emotional and poignant but also lyrical and magical memoir that includes over 20 recipes for Khmer dishes like chicken lime soup, ba sung noodles, pate de foie, curries, spring rolls, and stir fries. For Nguyen, recreating these dishes becomes an act of resistance, of reclaiming her place in the world, of upholding the values the Khmer Rouge sought to destroy, and of honoring the memory of her beloved mother. From her idyllic early years in Battambang to hiding as a young girl in Phnom Penh as the country purges ethnic Vietnamese like Nguyen and her family, from her escape to Saigon to the deaths of mother and sister there, from the poverty and devastation she experiences in a war-ravaged Vietnam to her decision to flee the country. We follow Chantha on a harrowing river crossing into Thailand, part of the exodus that gave rise to the name Boat People, and her decades in a refugee camp there until finally, denied passage to the West, she returns to a forever changed Cambodia. Nguyen survives by cooking in a brothel, serving drinks in a nightclub, making and selling street food, becoming a suture nurse treating refugees abused by Thai authorities, and weaving silk. Through it all, Nguyen relies on her mother's slow noodles approach to healing and to cooking, one that prioritizes time and care over expediency. Haunting and evocative, Slow Noodles is a testament to the power of culinary heritage to spark the rebirth of a young woman's hopes for a beautiful life. That is a very long synopsis. But anyway, it just sounds like it's going to be really, really good. So if you would like to join me in reading this, I will leave a link to the community post down below in the comments once the community post goes live on May 1st. And you can read it along with me if you would like. I would love to have you join me. So that is the only other book that I wanted to mention. I do have a number of vlogs planned this month, so you can expect to see another episode where I am reading the backlist books from the Literally Dead book club. I am also doing another series spinner wheel vlog and another seasonal vlog. So you can stay tuned for those, and hopefully I will see you in those videos. But otherwise, that's going to do it for this one. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel if you would like to see more from me. If you made it to the end of the video and would like to leave an emoji to show you were here, you can leave me a die emoji in honor of the dice I roll for my game. And I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.